My first book was You Can Win. And the subtitle to that book was Winners Don't Do Different Things, They Do Things Differently. Now, invariably, people ask me, what do they do differently? And my answer is, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. And folks, what are the things losers don't like to do? They're the same things winners don't like to do either, but they do it anyway. See, folks, losers don't like to get up in the morning. Winners don't like to get up in the morning either, but they get up anyway. Losers don't like to work hard. Winners don't like to work hard either, but they work hard anyway. See, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. And they're the same things. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because if we have to do anything proficiently, it must come automatic. It must become a habit. If we have to think to do the right thing, we can never do it right. It must come automatic. Now, folks, I don't care how old we are, our parents said one thing: form good habits, and habits form characters. Because 90% of our behavior is habitual. We don't think, we just act. And if we have positive habits, we are a positive character. And if we have negative habits, we are a negative character. And good habits are hard to come by, but they're easy to live with. And bad habits come easy, but they're hard to live with. And before we got the habits got us. Yes, no. Are you with me, folks? Before we got the habit has got us. Now, why is it important? Folks, many times you hear people saying that this person is just lucky. Every time he touches dirt, becomes gold. And this person is just unlucky. Every time he touches gold, it becomes dirt. Many times you hear people saying that this person is just lucky. Every time he touches dirt, becomes gold. And this person is unlucky. Every time he touches gold, becomes dirt. Now, there is a lot of truth in it, minus the word luck. Now, why do I share that? The person we call lucky, analyze their life, analyze every transaction in their life, and you will find the positive behavior has become habitual. Every time they do it right, it happens right, it is automatic. See, folks, in martial art, anybody did martial art here? Anybody did martial art? Okay. Folks, in martial art, when you get the white belt, yellow, orange, purple, green, brown, black belt, 5 years later, after you get your black belt, you are still practicing the same thing: block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch. Why? Because the teacher wants to get the block and punch into reflex action. Why? Because the teacher realizes that if the student is ever in a street fight, if he has to think to block and punch, guess what will happen? He'll get beaten up. A martial arts student never has to think to block and punch. It comes automatic. Folks, same thing in defense services. Anybody from the defense background? Okay, there you are. And sir, tell me, in the defense services, 60% of your career goes into what? Simulation of warfare. Simulation of warfare. What is simulation? They play war games as if there's a real war going on right now. Why? They want to get to reflex action. Why? Because they realize when there's a real war, if they have to think to fight a war, do you think they can ever fight a war? Answer is never. So I'm sharing all this because we must get all positive behavior into reflex action. Now, what do winners do differently is one more thing. Folks, winners always put in that extra effort even when it hurts. I repeat, winners always put in that extra effort even when it hurts. Now, Dan Gable won the world title on wrestling. When he became the champion, people asked him, "How did you become a champion?" And he said, "When I was preparing for the championship bout," he said, "I was so tired, I wanted to give up. But," he said, "I pictured my opponent, he must be practicing. So I went back into more practice. Again, a point came. I was so exhausted, I wanted to give up. I pictured my opponent, he must be practicing, so I went back into more practice." He said, "A point came. I could not lift myself anymore. And I pictured my opponent, he must be in the shower." And he said, "That's the time, guess what I did? I went back into more practice." He said, "Till now we were at par. This was the only edge I have on this other person, only advantage." Folks, is there any coincidence how we became a winner? Answer is no. Folks, what is the difference between a laborer and a craftsman and an artist? Folks, anybody who works with a hand is a laborer. And anybody who works with the hand and the head is a craftsman. And a person who works with the hand, head, and the heart, he's an artist. Folks, till we bring everything into a form of art, we can never do anything well in life. I repeat, till we bring everything to the point of art, we can never do anything well in life. I'll example share. Many, many years ago, the world record on high jump used to be 7'4". High jump, not pole vault. Folks, how can a human being clear a bar 7'4"? Boy, 4'7" is tough. So somebody asked a champion, "How do you clear a bar 7'4"? And his answer was, "I throw my heart over the bar and my body follows." Are you with me? I throw my heart over the bar and my body follows. Folks, is there any coincidence that he became a champion? How can he not be a champion? Remember, winners don't do different things. They do things differently. Now, you keep hearing this phrase, practice makes perfect. You heard this. How many believe this is true, that practice makes perfect? Please raise your hand. Totally incorrect answer. Folks, practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever you practice. Only perfect practice makes perfect. Some people keep practicing their mistakes, and they become perfect in making mistakes. I'm not playing on words. We have a client with a Swiss collaboration. I got a call from the CEO saying, Mr. Khera, can you do some sales training for our people? I said, give me a couple of days. Let me see how they are. 2 days later, I called the CEO and I said, sir, your people don't need sales training. They need basic training in courtesy, etiquette, manners, integrity. He said, what? I said, yes, sir. I said, your people need basic training in courtesy, etiquette, manners, integrity. He said, what does that mean? I said, many of your salespeople, they have appointments and they're running late. And they don't even have the courtesy to call and say, I'm sorry, I'm running late. And time to call is when? Before you got late or after you got late? And they walk in late and they don't even have the courtesy to say, I'm sorry I kept you waiting. And in case they call, what do they say on the phone? I'm stuck in traffic. Now don't get me wrong. Traffic has become a real issue for all over the world. That is true. But many times they leave their office only 2 minutes before the appointment and they blame it on traffic. They don't have the integrity or the guts to say, I'm sorry, I did start late. They don't have the guts and integrity to say, I'm sorry, I did start late. And folks, we notice only the first lie is difficult. Only the first lie is difficult. Second becomes easier, third becomes easier, and fourth becomes easier. And very soon, you are dealing with a chronic liar all the way. Are you with me? Hello? Are you with me, folks? And let me ask you, if this is the starting point of a relationship, how long will it last? It won't. But the example that I shared with you, is it something I cooked up fictitious? Or this is common practice, common behavior? Yes, no. Hello? And many times, people say, there's a little lie, when the big one comes, I'll tell the truth. You practice enough little lies in life. When the big one comes, what happens? You end up telling a big lie. Folks, practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever you practice. And many times people say, this little thing, when the big one comes, I'll show courage. You practice cowardice. Enough little things in life, when the big one comes, what happens? You end up being a big coward. Folks, and experience shows that people who lie also steal. I repeat, people who lie also steal. Now, I was doing a program in the Lalit Hotel. This is the Lalit sign, folks. Lalit Hotel sign in Bombay. And next to my bed was a side table, and on the side table there was a nice clock. Now, what does a clock cost in a hotel? $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, or even $500? Who cares? That's not important. But you see, next to the clock it was written, this clock is hotel property. Hello? This clock is hotel property. And then next to this clock, there was a little lamp, and next to the lamp was also written, "This lamp is also hotel property." Now tell me, folks, why do they put such signs there? Anybody give me a reason? Why do they put such signs there? Somebody give me an answer. Raise your hand, please. Huh? Oh, people pack up. By mistake? No, they pack up. And sir, let me ask you, the person who is staying there is paying 35,000 rupees for one night. One night. Is he poor? You know something? He could buy the hotel. But you know something? They pack up things like this. They pack up cutleries, crockeries, linens, towels, and they pack up. And they bring it home. And very proudly they say, "I collect souvenirs." Hello? The guy should be in jail. They should be in jail. Folks, what integrity are we talking about? Now, let me share, and sadly, there was an article in Times of India. This was 6 years ago. A survey was conducted globally which said that Indians happen to be the third largest hotel item thieves in the world. Now, I'll tell you one thing. It is shameful. It is shameful. We talk of integrity. Where's the integrity? When we talk of you can win, we need to understand the basics, what we do. Now, let me share with you something. Folks, I come from a business family. We had coal mines in India, close to 1,000 people working for us. Mines got nationalized, the government took over. And right from being a mine owner, we came on the street. Street means street. Some families had money. Our family did not. My father had died when I was in college. We were left with the liabilities and the assets were gone. And I was married only 4 weeks then. I remember a year later, my daughter was born, and I sold some of the last pieces of my mother's jewelry to get released from the hospital. I did not have $10 to buy milk that night. I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money, and I failed in all. Finally, I left India November 13, 1975. Went to US. Initially went to Toronto. And I started life with a bucket in my hand washing cars door to door. For 1.5 years, I was washing cars on the street. And totally by accident, I got into selling life insurance. And folks, within 3 months, my manager called me back to fire me for non-performance. And he said to me, he said, "Shiv, I've been in this life insurance business 35 years, and I've seen some slow starts in my life, but I've never seen one like you." And he says, "Don't come back tomorrow. Don't come back tomorrow. You're fired." I said, "Joe, wait a minute. Before you fire me, at least hear me out. I'm not an educated person. I'm not a doctor, engineer, attorney, accountant. I'm a BCom 3rd division, failed in my 10th. That's my academics. How do you expect performance out of me?" Folks, that day, somebody spoke very harshly to me. And he said to me, "You shut up and listen to me." Folks, and later on I realized it was not anger, it was concerned. And folks, he said to me, he said, you don't have a handicap, you have a bad attitude. And it is people like you who not only ruin their own lives, but they also ruin their family's life too. He said, do you know who has a handicap in life? The doctor, engineer, attorney, accountant, they all have handicaps. I said, boy, never heard that one. How do they have handicaps? He said, go check out all over the world. They all have chosen their field. They are stuck. And he says, you haven't chosen your field. Don't you see the world is open to you? I said, Joe, I never thought from that point of view. He said, now that you're fired, you got all the time to think, leave my office. Folks, I left his office 45 years ago that day. And that evening, there was a program by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the man who wrote the book, Power of Positive Thinking. Have you heard the name, folks? Yes, no? Okay, you heard that. I went into the program, folks. There were 1,000 people. I was one of them. And as Dr. Peale came up, he looked at the audience. There were 1,000 people. And he says, you people appear so cool, calm, collected, comfortable. It appears nobody has a problem here. And he asked, does anybody have a problem here? Who doesn't have a problem? So everybody raised their hand. Then Dr. Peale said, how many people would like to get rid of their problems? Again, everybody raised their hand. And then Dr. Peale said, while I was coming here, 2 blocks away from here, I came across a place where I saw some people lying down, all stretched out, comfortable, totally relaxed. They had no problem whatsoever. How many people would like to know where that place is? Again, everybody raised their hand. And Dr. Peale said, 2 blocks away from here, there is a cemetery. There is a cemetery. There are people lying there, all comfortable, totally stretched out, relaxed. They have no problem whatsoever. Then he asked, how many people would like to get rid of the problem? Nobody raised their hand. Everybody put their hand in their pocket. And folks, that's the time Dr. Peale said, remember, so long as we are alive, we shall have problems. The day we don't have problems, we'll be dead. And when you're running short of problems, watch out, he's calling you. Folks, but that day, Dr. Peale gave a prayer, which some of you might have heard before. It is called the Serenity Prayer. And in my opinion, it is the gist of life. And it goes this way. It goes this way. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference what I can and what I cannot. I repeat, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference what I can and what I cannot. Folks, if you dissect this little prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Now the question is, can we change everything in this world? to suit ourselves? Answer is no. Can we mold and manipulate everything to suit ourselves? Answer is no. There are many, many, many things beyond, such as, I didn't choose my parents, neither did you. I didn't decide where I was going to be born, neither did you. If this is my height and color of my skin, there's nothing I can do about it. And granted, sometimes bad things do happen to good people for no fault of their own. And granted, sometimes people are born deformed. What wrong did they do? Who knows? It says, what I cannot change, let me accept it graciously, not grudgingly. Because many times in life, we keep fighting the things we just cannot change. And we bring stress into our lives, we become paralyzed, and we become unproductive. And it says, if I can change, then give me the courage to do it, and wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. Now, folks, when I wrote my book, I have a new book. This is a new book which was launched last week. This title is Live While You Are Alive. Live while you are alive. Don't be a walking dead body. Hello? Don't be a walking dead body. Don't die before you're dead. Hello? Don't die before you're dead. And it says here, take a break before you break down. I repeat, take a break before you break down. And folks, when I wrote this book, launched by Jai Shankar last week, in this book I have taken this thought and taken it 2 steps forward. And it says here that life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. It seems like a contradiction, but really not. How is life full of choices? Folks, if I ill-treat you, I have chosen to be ill-treated, haven't I? If I treat you with discourtesy, I've chosen to be treated with discourtesy, haven't I? And if I light up a cigarette, I've chosen to invite cancer, haven't I? If I drink and drive, I've chosen to invite an accident, haven't I? And if I exercise every day, I've chosen to invite good health, haven't I? And folks, hear this carefully. If I tell lies, I have chosen to lose my credibility, haven't I? See, folks, life is full of choices. Now, this sentence is very important. We are all free to the point of choice. But after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. Folks, I repeat one more time. We are all free to the point of choice. But after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. Now, how is life full of compromises? As somebody said well, in life, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us. What we can choose is how we play the game. And sometimes nature gives us a lemon. The choice is ours. Do we cry or do we make lemonade? That's a choice. Folks, now, many times, especially the press, they ask me this one question. Mr. Khera, people who are successful, don't they make mistakes? And people who fail in life, don't they do positive things in life? And my answer is that people who are successful, they do make mistakes. But remember, making a mistake once in a while does not bring failure. Repeating the same mistake again and again is what brings failure. Are you with me? Are you with me? See, I repeat, making a mistake once in a while does not bring failure. Repeating the same mistake again and again is what brings failure. And doing something positive once in a while does not bring success either. Repeating the same positive behavior again and again is what brings success. Folks, what is success? Series of positive decisions in life is called success. And series of negative decisions in life is called failure. That's it. Now, after attending Dr. Peel's program, I went back to my office, to my manager, and I said, Joe, don't fire me today. Give me one more shot. Give me one more shot. Because if you fire me today, I don't know where to go. And the only place I know where to go is go back to washing cars. And I said, I don't want to do that anymore. I got a little daughter. I make one commitment. I will not let you down because of my effort. But please withdraw the papers. Folks, he looked at me and he says, Shiv, that's not your small one, that's your big one. He said, I'll let you stay here only if you make a commitment not to me, but to yourself. I'll let you stay here. Folks, that day I made a commitment. That was one of the turning points in my life. And don't we all have some turning points? Yes, no. Hello? And he would do the papers. And that year I went ahead, sold over $1 million. Next year, $3 million. Year after, $5 million. Moved on to the U.S. Got into 3 businesses. I bought out a company out of California in 1984. And started a New Jersey operation with no clients. And I sold my company with close to 500 clients for a decent sum. Now, why do I share my life with you, folks? For a few reasons. Number one, I kept failing all my life and kept blaming the whole world for my failure, not realizing that I was my own biggest problem. Nothing changed outside. Something changed inside, and the direction in my life changed. And folks, let me ask you, many times in life, aren't we our own biggest problem? Can I have a big yes? Can I have a big yes? Okay. And number 2, second lesson I learned from him, when he said to me, you shut up and listen to me. And that taught me one lesson, folks, that sometimes in life, you got to be unkind to be kind. I repeat one more time, that sometimes in life, you got to be unkind to be kind. And the third lesson I learned was, I was on 100% commission. If I didn't sell, I wouldn't get any money, and I had no money. But in my company, I saw there were some people who are getting salaries, but they were not doing their job. Folks, that's the time I learned the difference between making money versus earning money. Making money is criminal. Earning money is spiritual. Are you with me? Hello? Folks, have you heard what I said? Making money is criminal. Earning money is, say it loudly, it is spiritual. What is the difference? When you earn money, you put your energy and ethics behind it. And sadly today, most people only want to make money. Very few want to earn it. Folks, there was a survey done, global survey by Gallup in the US, which said that 63% of people who go to work, they're disengaged. It means they don't do their job. An additional 24% are actively disengaged, which means they don't let others also don't do their job. That leaves only 13% of people who go to work actually do work. Look at this. Only 13% of people who go to work actually do work. Tell me, is this not an integrity issue? Yes, no. Yes, no? Hello? It is a big time integrity issue. Now, a same survey said one more thing. Especially with social media today. People go to work, and during working hours, they're spending 2, 3, even 4 hours per day in their personal social media. Tell me, is that what we are getting paid for? Are you with me? Hello? Is that what we are getting paid for? Folks, when somebody steals a wallet from your pocket, what do you call that person? A thief. And when we do all these things, what are we? No different. Folks, it's a wake-up call. Now, let me quickly mention a couple of things here. This was my second book. You Can Achieve More. It has a subtitle, If You Want to Stand Out, You Need to Do Something Outstanding. I repeat, if you want to stand out, you need to do something outstanding. Now, what does this mean? Many times people say, I want to have an extraordinary life. I want to have extraordinary success. I want to have extraordinary income. But they need to ask, are you an extraordinary person? Do you have extraordinary integrity? Do you have extraordinary relationship? Do you work hard, extraordinarily hard? Are you an extraordinary person? If you are not extraordinary, you will get nothing extraordinary. Are you with me? If you are not extraordinary, you will get nothing extraordinary. That means we need to be something before we can get anything in life. And that's it. And this is the latest book, which was launched last week, Live While You Are Alive. I just want to share only 2 stories out of this. In fact, 3 stories out of this. And then I will close it. Folks, what is a major cause of stress? One, stress is normal. it is natural, it is unavoidable, and stress you cannot delegate. You have to handle your own stress. You cannot delegate stress. So folks, keep in mind, when a problem I cannot handle, that is the one that causes stress. Example, supposing I'm taking a walk in the forest and a lion comes in front of me. Now who has a problem? I have a problem. But sir, supposing you have AK-47 in your hand. Now who has a problem? Now the lion has a problem. See folks, keep in mind, this book is like getting AK-47, how to handle stress in life. It prepares you how to handle stress in life. This is AK-47. Now, folks, one major cause of stress is trying to please everybody all the time. I repeat, a major cause for stress is trying to please everybody all the time. I think I'm going to wind up in 1 minute. Oh, 10 minutes. Okay, let me just finish and I'll take Q&As. Folks, a major cause of stress is trying to please everybody all the time. Can we do it? Answer is no. One, it is not called for, it is not required, it is not possible. Folks, there's a nice saying, a friend to all is a friend to none. I repeat, a friend to all is a friend to none. And let me share with you one more story, and then I'll give the floor to the lady here. Folks, to handle stress, don't fight your battles alone. I repeat, don't fight your battles alone. Many times, we keep fighting our battles alone, and we are not able to handle it. Folks, use all your resources in life. Use all your strength. How do you do it? Once a young boy told his father, he said, "Dad, I'm going to the field. There is a stone lying inside, in there. I'm going to move it." So the boy went, came back home, and father asked, "Son, were you able to move it?" Boy said, "No, Dad, but I'm going to go back tomorrow." He went back again, came back in the evening. The father asked, "Son, were you able to move it?" He said, "No, Dad, but I'm going to go back tomorrow." The third day, the boy went to move the rock. But third day, the father quietly followed the boy. And he saw his son was pushing hard. So the father asked the boy, "Son, are you using all your strength?" And the boy said, "Look, Dad, I'm using all my strength." And father said, "Son, you never asked me. Am I not part of your strength? You never asked me, am I not part of your strength?" Folks, don't fight your battles alone.